Ma memfa we ntwam na fe quickly yemra yen komo no so. Make us say Atik Mohammed Atnase. Sanso na lawyer Opoku CID so Atnase. Nana ya jantwan so ewa hanum si. But post ni na dro no imbus herbal adwuma eguso boa ma yenya apomuden pa yi pa. Nti me kan formal say ope imbus herbal dia. Let's say post ni na dro no ana ye kan. Fre sa number we 0246 208496 and 0261 388149 na ko hwe post ni na dro no imbus herbal na embo kwanso kuso. Kingdom Herbal Center the medical you was treat nyoma pa one the abedwa so in terms of one row Kingdom garlic capsules and the bitters, Kingdom ginseng power capsules and a tremendous capsules. Mekam for sebibia da petanka ton it should be syntax tank very strong and tough. Shape bia, color bia, size bia no syntax airbow. Na fe a portion shunko di do jumedino. Kale Charcoal Toothpaste, another quality product from Samara Company Limited. A boama and kai fruanubano, a kama, and which you send to me if you turn off a demon kikabia kaka senational, a year for your precope at the amount, or see a chinamational, a manina a whole day or quantum custom. Fre Samara Company Limited on 0246 864798 0246 864798 and I say 05014544462. Ejumekobi ehwehwe na wa manipa kwanya ama won etimi abedi djuma sonko dia momo. Housekeeping supervisors ma any member. A minimum experience no should be 3 years. Afe cleaners a ma any member, as well as marketing officers and accountants. A edia dance say wini nyumekubia ye juma onim die na wosue hunu. Weni jisa eye enkoma amaboy hu dia. Na otimie bi say Adenta Medina American House ana emia atwa ho share dia. Na wabomodia fresa numbers we 0244 99 2983 and 0243 405125 now fi one day chirimu ma oye pa say when you so ye housekeeping supervisor oba na bema afi cleaners oba na bema marketing officers and as accountant and so channel so na fresh number CBM 0244 99 2983 and 0243 405125 na watimini won edinkita home atika kwaba
mine so
closer to doctor or still around it?
Almost there.
Okay.
In about 3 months I'm here at the moment.
Edia body ni betoso
Dino kwani him kese
Dr. Atik Mohammed soon.
Anyway,
the bibia bokode.
Oh, Gambaga for
you speak a Mikey.
And they say we studio manager.
I never watch and say Casa would be auntie.
Now since when I will obey studio.
I don't be studio.
What battle no mama.
You have the old iPad and a bar.
Ah, for going high tech.
That's what we do.
Best first 100 days. I've heard your more time.
As I'm saying, I'm for him. I'm for the person. The so I feel I will share that judge right there. Oh, and Brandon say, oh dear, focus. Why? Focus. It's oh monitor system. I said, oh, who are tiki?
Just say,
but you can go Gambaga for so. Keep your come on.
Oh, Yamiadum Gambaga. Good.
Now what outside no monitor system.
Oh, very much.
What were some of the issues that we need cheaper?
Oh, Galamsey teacher, because the organization I work with very focused on issues of environmental sustainability and for. And I Galamsey can't was them sir. And Galamsey it has always been a threat to our environment and to our livelihoods. But you see, it's a notch higher. We share the extent of damages. You see, it's a free for all affair. Yeah, forest in it, you know, there's no respect for. In fact, there's this thing called environmental genocide, and that is what we are experiencing now. Yes, say forest, you know, and say, Galamsey was one of the major issues that decided the 2024 elections, and the promises are man for year Emma ebimu jina so etuaba. But Nansan Yemihu and the backtracking and look, it's becoming.
When you say backtracking,
you know, some of the things that were said, some of the suggestions that were made. Says yes, these are not actionable suggestions. And so on and so forth. Look, once Galamsey is a major threat. Look, now it's becoming, apart from the distraction that it occasions to your environment, it's becoming a platform for the commission of serious crimes. Says here, Nansaya video be just dear Sabi, near no moodins and moon. Everybody has moved into the bush now. Armed robbers, murderers, that's where now, wow, we are Galamsey, if they are there for the hire. Sika now conform no the Omaku go. And he is moved beyond destroying the environment to creating some environment for Unkrofwa in say Bonia no Moody. That's where they operate now. A man for you, a man for kum, a man for it's really.
But have you followed keenly about we
No, when I say in Shishabe, I'm not saying that every government, of course, does something about Galamsey, but the intensity is what is of importance.
Now we are aware that there's going to be an engagement.
To what end? Engagement to what end?
The following week we are aware, say.
But you see, let's take the conversation a step at a time.
Yeah.
Engagement. You are having an engagement at a time you are being called upon to act. This is not the time for engagement. Yeah, traho. One will say, if you are really committed to the fight against Galamsey, your first 100 days, and now let's say your first quarter, is when you should have had these engagements. But you see, before our engagement, already one obia or baho, say, you no longer see this as an issue that warrants, like you don't see it as an emergency situation, because Eka said there was the need to declare a state of emergency on Galamsey. The president and everybody else who speaks for him, Eka that suggestion was made, but they don't think, sir, suggestion I say the Ejuma. Which means that it's no longer, in your estimation, and Drew level now, that warrants the declaration of a state of emergency. Now, look, if there's anything, apart from civil war and a major natural disaster, Galamsey is the next thing in my view that should merit the declaration of state of emergency. Maybe we can have a conversation about the modalities and the nature, what structure should it be. But it is beyond debate. Say, maybe a Galamsey could do a declare state of emergency on it. But we made some suggestions some time ago, and it wasn't just Mazda alone that made such suggestions. Other civil society organizations, as suggested, to win, look, the first step towards the fight against Galamsey is to first make sure, you suspend all small-scale mining and artisanal mining, activities.
But the MPP did that.
They did not.
That
was almost first time. You see, and what happened to our waters when that happened?
And in a year, come on.
Exactly. But when they backslided, you see, Obi backslide there. You decide to become born again. Then for some reason, you decide that the Mijai Christosum. Bonia would is twice the now would because they say there's nothing else. Wait, yes, him. And that is what we saw under the MPP. And Nuntina, the president at the time, the flag bearer of the NDC at the time, first said, baby, do you cry? In fact, we should even be declaring a state of emergency on it. And if the MPP had been able to sustain some of the, steps now, me assure say anka by now we'll be having a different conversation about how to get more Ghanaians to, you know, join in the gold value chain, not necessarily doing mining. It's a huge value chain. But because Galamsey no the easiest no obia sorry a hono pesoko. And look, the same complicity of official domain can once in the past no enu bia na yehu. So see people are giving licenses. When I say I don't mean like mineralize. I mean like they've been given the chance to just munkoye ukoka. The question on baby sound say na your party abe ya nya da be na yensu bitimi as if it's something that has to be done on the basis of party you belong to.
But that's how it is now.
No, it should not be. And you see, look, Ghana, as we take 3 steps forward, then we take 5 steps backward. Look, like I said, one of the deciding factors, it may is debatable whether it was a major deciding factor or not, but it was one of the deciding factors in the 2024 elections, the issues of Galamsey. Those who were involved, the extent of distraction, and the willingness or lack thereof towards making sure that Saadi Yebe quit here. LI 2642, LI na EPA4, that entitled people to mine in forest reserves. It was a terrible legislation. NDC for can want them so mobile. In fact, they actually were demanding, just like all of us were. Say MPP abayanye, and they suffered the penalties for that electorally. What has here? And the NDC by anka, if like I'm saying, I say, uka say or mudi shishe at to honum. Your first step beyond, you know, suspending artisanal and small scale mining activities, you know, with a view to coming up with a blueprint, you know. The next is to make sure that our legislation will be here for one time.
Parliament resumes just some few days.
Which from January 7th. And then
2nd October.
How many months need?
Why wouldn't you give the government the benefit of the doubt?
You see, when you are dealing with emergency situations, when you are dealing with issues that are major threats to your existence as a state, you don't have the luxury of 8 months. What you must hear? In their estimation, this is not as serious as, you know, they said it was when they were in opposition. And it is linked to the alleged complicity of officialdom. And how I think we are giving legitimacy, government is giving legitimacy to Galamsey in some sense.
Oh, how?
Through the activities of Gold Board. Oh. Where is Gold Board buying the gold from? Where are they buying the gold from? Because it is not, don't tell me that it is only licensed small scale miners who acquire gold no mutton.
But you know
when they say yes, when they say yes, when the aggregators, any the minor buyers no kotoa, they don't ask you, say, whether you are licensed to mine or not. They just buy. What is here? Empty. And once there are no mechanisms, and trace in this animal. If you really wanted to help in the fight against Galamsey, maybe you should have thought about doing the tracing before you even started this, you know, purchase program. And they are doing other things that are giving, you know, some energy, renewed energy to the activities of Galamseyers. Sisia omu kra excavators eba. Na Gold Board, if Gold Board and almost they are going to do it on the basis of pooling, omudiko guha no omudiko uba no abeyi bi akoye and all that. Amahini. Ye nyina nim say it is the use of excavators and ama your environment na say no. It is not the fact said those who use it and those who don't, those who use it no, some of them are not licensed. In fact, some of the distraction no cry licensed small scale miners be the area. What is here? Because once you give them the excavator, no pay now government is saying oh yensu ye beto bi amom eya no ma beji bi akoye. So this issue of Galamsey, it is not considered to be a threat as it was painted by the NDC and everybody else to be. It's a problem, but it's not a major problem. And that cannot be. If this is the mindset you are, taking to deal with this issue, not just say you've lost the fight before you could even begin. What is here? And this our engagement, they know that, look, the solutions are a bit Galamsey, so you can say, Abrasino. They know. And I've just told you some of them, the two of them. First, suspend the activities. But because they go there, a funny free ho. Until once we suspend it, it's going to be a problem. And look, all that we do is we sell the gold, come and auction the dollars just to keep the dollar afloat. That's all we do. What was here? And secondly, I've also spoken about the fact that beyond the suspension, no, make sure says why would we wait 8 good months? Me do one in tears here. In fact, I say I feel now see once Parliament resumes and I be young. And I'm saying, why did we have to wait for 8 months? Unkrofua who were on the neck of the MPP, and they are justifying and rationalizing why it should not be done. And when I think about it, look, as if Saloi Bibi Shunku Womwa, whereby the trade-off between the suspend and the repeal of Sahel LI, no, any the maintenance, no, and like maintaining it, no, the trade-off is so huge. Say ya and ye na ye ko ye friwa abayin beshi bibi shunkubi. There is nothing to lose. Well, but they should come out. If that is the situation, then omunka nukrenin why they are hesitant, why they are inertia in repealing that particular LI. And the other issue, finally, about Ubisami about issues economy starting Galamsey, but it's just because it's one of the issues. The other issue is look, I have taken a case. I've taken a case to Mama. I have filed a process in the court. I did that even before and the process is to, ask the Minister for Interior. One was this idea of deporting Nkrofua who are caught doing Galamsey, foreigners, is sins against the law. Mrano is very clear what needs to, we amended our law to show what we need to do to foreigners. Say ye chiwa and you are found guilty of committing offenses against the Minerals and Mining Act. You do kwakojina asembibia, and once you are found, culpable, no, you must serve the full sentence. Now we are Immigration Act, no, you are shame whether the offense, because Immigration Act, once you are convicted, now a service term of 3 months and above, government can deport you on that basis. Until you see if you are convicted. Nasa after we convict serve sentence ni wia na yeshwem nasa mreisu ebediwa ansa na ediwa ko krom, but to arrest them and send them immediately does not deter anybody from coming back. Look, Aisha, why do you think Aisha kept coming? Look, Obey Neas Jetlia, which now manukwa Obabak Oba Shaolin, and Omanim Susu said, what is here? But once the person is arrested, tried and convicted, no. And the person serves a term. Now deporting her. What is here? But our Minister for Interior is saying, even against the law, no, what is here? And these are some of the things that tell me, the commitment to this fight, is very weak.
Executive Director, Mass Action for Sustainable Development in Africa, Iratik Mohammed. That's so for submissions. Let's say, Bibia Boko, Bibia Kokama.
Go by. What's the announcement to buy?
With the watching Kulem.
Come, Opoku buy. Oh, buy. The announcement do the photo in our to screen so.
When I do any boka.
When see ho, I've been able to say old man the dear Boko. I would have Atiki ne pena mishia.
Oh so.
Atiki ya watiki penyimu ne wa atiki keto.
What's atiki no? When ana we ni atiki PNC.
We ni atiki PNC.
Masi PNC bizo misi atiki bizo.
Judas wo PNC ana wejai.
Oh se nyene. Mi ja acha.
Munje bibi yo nkroma party.
Na wa we free CPP. Me ja PNC.
Me dey omo pam me. With the orchestration of MPP near pam me.
Me dey
na ile CPP for nkroma for there. Moya ma dia.
Oh, pastor san komo me en start. Omo ne kwotua sika me pam me. Now nim.
Isa
but you see, I think the problem is not even with the outside influence. Parties na nkasa no. And when I say parties, I mean the so-called Nkrumah's parties. Look, they are structured not to survive. Look, why will you who say you want to see them go forward? No, I said,
that's why I think about your conversation when you start here.
Na MPP asem na person.
No na muko trace kan bacho me nyin film.
Na ya.
Mo na mo share na mo me ho ntoye hu. Me na mka che.
Na wo hu je wo ya wa ye di bia. Se wo hu ye fo a ye di bia. We de hu ya na wo bele na wo nya hu ye fo dia.
Me de matata ya. We no ka wo pese o ye ni ye ana akoye ntokwa.
That is why it's all.
Da be na nyi wo mo atiki because nkrofo ehihye echi o mo pese ebe ye. Atika asema o kan mi tie na so pem. Ba de mpese me che ni se me fanchi amu atifo. Fanchi amu ahwefo o Facebook. Na menchia me a me sister Marietta Bropon. Lawyer kama. Enem de nchia komano. Na asema atiki ke stakeholder consultations e key. Ontimi nka save a program na ye ni fiada na so ni mfa so. Ana se e too late. Hwenanse na metie me am of Francis Poku. E wo mu sister station. Ade ba kwa emphasize and de bia makasa asem e stakeholder engagement. He said it. Was stakeholder engagement after we no ye be san kwa henfo so. Woman kasa womo eye sab ade no so no ye be ko womo so nim se na se sa me Gyamfi so be ye program bia womo eye sustainable mining enye no ho ane enuanumi atoye nchem koto woma fufi anto ata de buy it is not as if the government is not doing anything. Now I think it can be 2020 no sa Galamsey fight no Emma MPP Safari electorally. He for so more win election.
2024 na make am.
I work out 2024. Okay. Na fu so kan wo mantra ni bi 2020 wo mu ye. MPP for muti na me pese me kan o masem because o maye mobo. Wo man kasa no mu hu o mu left from o mu right. Inti no kan o masem pi asif say wo mu anya kru na asa abiri kru no. But wo man kasa ayi frimpon boy ti mama meka Galamsey asem. What work did they do? Because you say omunyina as if say eselesi mahama ye adwuma pa say as if you say Galamsey no ni ade ese so omugina so no de kase ne ye esesi yetimi ka single digit inflation ye hu bia che. Eselesi mahama to prison for aduan feeding fee ye benya ananka ye 10 cedis. 5 but from 1 cedi 80 pesos to 5 cedis. Short masi for so long almost 10 years ni yentu mu na oman hene se wo ko prison na obehu ade ye wo ho me ne mago ye prison campaign in addition to other things we did no baby ade ani see was prisons oman hene wo ko I'm telling you obia bi wo ho obia bi because obia bi wo ho doctor wo lawyer wo teacher wo ho obia bi wo ho sofo wo ho journalist wo ho wonim da ebeto na de ye yampo no ene enkwala no as if say the most productive class no yakoto wo magu otemasi inti no the excellency Mahama is doing very well to reset this nation. Galamsey ade ye nyina ye fight FM. But adie ba kwa me pese me ka obia yi na ni afiri so hwe time ayesu so nyina no ne gather and sell no mo ye ne Galamsey but no one factor woman reclamation we are no see actually sort ma say but this time no asi so mu tu saa wo mu see actually omutu saa omu see actually and I see a team who the difference between more license and one illegally. We need to really make that difference, that distinction. Media may be but media and I still stand by it to say, exactly close you be I said the fishing closing. No be a giant mining no. Casio kitwo. Nanedia ye chewa, as you say, I see it me shoot too. Oh, yes. But it says Muhammad the one yes I mean and I yao zanka menya power kakra but ono the one yet because na kuma ye but the time and not those days no na me kai kofi buachi no of fighting armed robbery those days of fighting pa ata yinum days and then oh yeah with me nya success every time young grofo ni be home escape ya they were shot on yes, and ye peace. Ono kra me ho adi kronti ayama tete was esi ede ne ko ho no kokkoboa. Esi opi kofi buache esi yama no ko Galamsey. Ye de ne part of Galamsey ayi no naimos no. Ye de ne ka ho. Because he has the skill to fight some of these things. What I say because this is also crime. What expertise na obetimi aye. Into your mind I am saying said the fight no enye nipa baako fight but the stakeholder consultation stakeholder engagement is key. CSOs eye wie na esese ahemfo wo man kasa wo mo wo ade enum omo ye na si etimi kire wo mo the hazards eno na obi bisa am say hwan na wo ba ma nsate in some of these areas. And I'm say mukura media for no munyina mo boa na mo boma ye airtime na nkola ni bia ya wo mebi ni tie bi ni nsa no so that we show and no be bisa me was say omo hu bi o ba bia na am say because yes because you haven't seen doesn't mean it's not happening so SSC etimi ye no open. I don't know why the doctors are not talking no kobo ni ha. They should come out and tell us openly the hazards of some of the chemicals and crofo use. And my uncle Francis O'Kine, Francis spoke O'Kine. Or see at the end of the politics are check. The time has come. See be politics in a film. Na ye fight. Me Kaiser Excellency Mahama 2013. He actually fought this thing. Me kai kra Kumasi me sister hotel bina nkrofo bi wo ho mo kokko gi ho ye sake wo mu ye so wo mu nyina deport wo mu free kro ma ebinum ye de wo mu tutum but say baby aye ba bedru ni and somebody who has done it before by how many months in 9 months ade didi mu 8 years nkrofo ya amana baba besisi ama Professor Frimpong Boatin kura be ba be kan ho asem Galamsey has 38 years. Oh, mumuna mushe mukena. Maybe Professor from Paul Boatin didn't let her by more into me and give you. They see the muniano. See, because in same woman, one to me a mamma case yampa na say yampa. Wouldn't a nam change man yet direct rebuttal. In the paper, so the paper no lie. It's still lying there. 8 years, see, much mukena. What am I say? Man, you be any home come. It says Excellency Mahama wants to open up the conversation. The Ghanaians will be a wide journey beyond family. One more time, did you ever have any stakeholder meetings on Galamsey?
Yeah, we did.
Ever him from one
so we are Mekasa.
And you'll meet you. It's in the Ekosiisen. Because
he says, oh,
be in the picture. Wow. Me who the person muchiribia. But I mean, for me, I've always stood by the fact that we should have a stakeholder consultation, a stakeholder engagement, and of the whole chain. Na obiya mfana dwene enye den emra, but ade ba ko o man hene ehia pa ye ntiase. because nkrofo no more communities no mu no understand this say ade omo ye no it is hurting us ombe ye den ombe jai so they are the key stakeholders I mean nim say ehho adwuma ene na nka ye nuanu mo kwa akoya ko mo ko hyase ena DC honorable boss so utie na no asema law ya atiki ken se process na start ya e be repeal law no emra se wo ye free ho na usan de aba enye one day eteki mmere e so go through processes o ti ase e so go through ade na bo hwe mi emre enye wa enwa wazan
How long will it
Some person say wa kasa na okase ya.
Munya ye na we.
eye mwanwa
No, how long will it take to repeal an LI? It's not an act.
Miso.
This is a legislative issue. It's just a review.
Say
process no ya trigger.
say akọ
Yeah, trigger.
ana minister baba what the krata to soko ana mboa
That's what
and answer na wo be ye no so otimi ye mpense mu hwe mra no mu nyina hwe ba bia se na esitie answer na we decide say wo de be beko we pe na meka say nyina ma anka hwe we pe meka na aka mo ati uti wo di comrade uti wo di we pe na mka ya na aka mo
Metro so you
just say ma meka nya na just na ekoma wo nti wo ankasa we pe na meka ya wa sorry
Governments, if we cry na ye nshu.
Bebe person me chese be see you start here and fa na be kɔ no ese se wo hwɛ
Na mo start no time be na mo start.
o ne se we nye be 4 months ni
Akufa do crack guy.
eye 4 months ago ni e de
Mo
kɔ
trigger no be 4 months ago.
eye mwanwo ne se ba ye da ben mo pente ma ban 8 months
Ma chese nti mo start no be 4 months.
over 5 months 4 months and
Which is be epumu.
be epumu and I'm starting
Mani nyine mo.
wo da wo say o say my kama apesa me call off wo kwa betimi atena bambogu betimi ne matena zezia and I think into me call gentle na apesa call no basa wo de fabla
So me nya kasa e. Na me clarification tu kasa wi ara me so ba.
wo de call no basa wo be hu e dey azam wo fusi ejina court ade no ya start process ya trigger say ba nrechi say ba new say ba you ya trigger eko Galamsey fighting there we all should come because you see and say mercury niko tomatoes ma nipa wo di ni enim nipa wo di eko abodi ma ye ni nipa wo di akanti fufuo ya akokodi ebi komu a ye ni mini unya ni enua no ye nim nipa wo di o ti ase
Ni be be onko fa free ko.
ye nim nipa wo di. And I wouldn't want a situation where a buying per situation ye beka se import ye aduane. Ye nsa se bebre but you see me ye nyina ye nko voter region. Me fi voter region na ebe. O man he the kind of discipline na wo ho no. Otima say
But could you do a job back grandma before na ka ho? Amama come who na baba.
yes.
I'm surprised.
I'm saying why is it that the rest of Ghana antisa there's so much discipline. Go and see your friend is saying voter you know lake no edda ho kama
How are they doing that?
I don't know me see this people hoping over speeding okada nam ne kwanso moto nam I was shocked and o mediane so democrat to be very honest system ko teacher ni no kire me say na mesi aka aigbe no makotena ho
Nimie.
unimka and ya kire me ese mpese misua because me call ho ne die senka Ghana nyina te sa anke ni problem o ma hini discipline pa basa bia ni ho bia anya basa ye nam kwam bia dinile mu meanwhile nobody is talking and unseen hand is controlling the system. And me I was so happy say as you see ye nyina yetimi nya say discipline that's a year that say kra ye tariff ya ye ehun nyina ye human activity around omo systems say binum krampo to Galamsey our transmission line ase otima say bushfires and sand winning. These are all human activity higher dream with electricity generation emu. So can you just imagine this? Intimate me believe this will be Obeka a stakeholder consultation. Enya papa no. Many no problem. As I see it me engage stakeholders. Near my warm multimedia.
Any when you and me who have a cushion, a big canina.
I think it is. I think the problem
is an all-inclusive topic indeed.
What am I saying? I feel all-inclusive because me quite a damn macaco. Oh, I think I am poor. Minimum.
No, as for voltage,
what I say?
Very.
Yes.
And look.
Because
of in
sure you that way, no be anya not been so back home. What I say? And I make us as you said, there's an unseen hand or controlling affairs.
That's true.
And it is very good to say to me. Discipline or on it. If you call restaurant grandpa girls and the way come receive you. What am I say? As a baby, I'm a man, worry. Intino, what the problem need?
Compare Galamsey men.
The girls be na me man worry na that she be menyam nkwala me. What am I say? Intino. Galamsey ni there is everybody's fight.
So the engagement is important tomorrow.
The continuous engagement.
Okay, so from CSOs we go to the chiefs.
The chiefs, the other what I say. I know so a friend is saying, Omo ye sa Galamsey no omo engagement nanka ye nuanu mu kwakoye. But for the memory of the 8 gallant people,
we must win this fight.
Must win the fight. And it will be for their memory alone.
Yeah.
We must win the fight. So that baby omo de bia no man will say all man sacrifice for nothing.
So we are on.
Yeah, why not? We are on, Papa. His Excellency Mahama is committed to fighting this battle.
Information.
Yeah.
Ochina engagement, what exactly is going to be discussed?
It's spelled out in the letter.
No, maybe so.
If I have to read it out for you,
please.
And your kind, so that you don't revenge the wheel.
Because
I think we saw a diabolic. We have a pen. No, because what's a gem pen paper? And I'm Opoku. Opoku said, "What's a gem pen?" I never church or near my
What I say is that Bibia was here.
The reason is that look, talk shops here.
Okay, so that's it.
Oh, I think here.
No, I'm not saying a win here.
Okay, so
but
on the instructions of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, I am pleased to invite you to participate in a civil society organization's engagement on illegal mining. The engagement is scheduled as follows: tomorrow, 3rd October 2025, 12 noon, Jubilee House, and this is what you want. This engagement aims to provide a platform for frank and constructive dialogue between the government and civil society on the menace of illegal mining, with a view to harnessing collective expertise, perspectives, and solutions to address this national challenge.
Omahini, this is an invitation to a lamentation party. That's what this is telling you. There is everything they know.
This engagement aims to promote a platform for frank and constructive dialogue between the government and civil society on the menace of illegal mining, with a view to harnessing collective expertise, perspectives, and solutions to address this national challenge.
Okay. I think it says engagement. Sometimes CSOs may not me CSO and some may be. Sometimes ye kasa ewo efidie so ye kasa ewo abonten. Sometimes kwa ye nya a opportunity nse epaka ko gina president anim ye ne nakasa. Ye nsem nyina no a reported speech. The president betia obi na e ka kire no. Say atiki can say nana ya can say what you say kwa Opoku CID diabolic or can say it is say the president say Mumeshia me ankasa the Oma Kuma should be a mufu say ye no mekanye maybe wo krampa wo betimi a chair president say ade na wo kra wo kono wo kon on the surface because you working pins she chira ABCD wo betimi aye
but and as a reminder the commander in chief is on top of all this information
media me
that's the point
what is that no
you see
on top on top on
the expertise
I use that as an example.
No, yeah, that's fair.
There are people who have more information
of
about.
Course.
No,
they are even in the community.
That's fair.
Yes.
Especially on the expertise bit.
Yes.
But my issue, my submission to you humbly is you have no idea the position papers, the briefs are CSUs are chro. On this particular subject, look, if the president is minded to learn about the positions and the expert views of CSUs, and to get others to join in the
letter. Nese wuni hwa onipa de ni ho be chechu ma de wo bia wo wote ase different and I think ye frɛ wo de
obi the proposal man
I wasn't around
man for political party bia
no be
not political party but it's also very important it's also about
categories
of people
yes
after this political parties
yes
the agency with which I say acting
how do you operate in a vacuum how do you operate
in a vacuum
you can't operate in a vacuum because you are dealing with people so clearly a step after step you really me taking me to my number say I have barricade
just buying time
there's security zone military zones as I say for 9 months no for no making sure say near many nti bo me ntwe na ye nhwe de betimi abam MPP for no aye madwen say ade
no military zone
yes now we need Kroma.
No, I'm just it's a rhetorical question. Oh, say who the Mr. Santos who the kasa udia wadaroma. Mama who we be NDC manifesto. Mohammed's first one.
Mama Akwaba.
Hey, sorry, Akwaba.
Yeah.
Can you mention Krachima Manso de
Amansia South. Yes.
Mene kota.
Yeah, who be. Na we mo na mo chere ba yo.
Opeso hu ade kodi opeso kan na wa
ebi kwa na man kan.
No, won't be bien si o si abra won kan.
I guess I speak hard your class out. Hey. Mr. Santi.
Yes, sir.
Answer o nyum na ye bo no kra che se usanu aso den. So nim sa.
Kra on say.
Ni nyum na o bo no. Bia wo ye show. Say o my hini Kwabena Sante watena se o kan hwe a wonte nti je say o kan ye kan hwe a wonte okay ene ye be kam re waso
o de free hot
na ye ka say
yeah
stakeholder consultation ye aba ya nya bi
amoye becoming
ye bebre ye na some of Africa na mo ye bi aba stakeholder me as DC because stakeholder consultation ben so
ye anti
me be checho you could do
mama anti na ye twam na abeka kosi
mama ka ba ku bi popular one abeka ye ba ku bi wo Ken University o24 na ye guest of honor oba be just stage obeka say regional minister ne abu aba no say almost no to bomb on that was a stakeholder consultation stakeholder consultation
ye hunu say talk shop
and I said them the ones who talk shop
na die na wa je so dum for crampo ba ka
they talk shop
mumu de egbe
they invite ahemfo
mumu invite
MMDS you invite other political parties
because there's so yes segmentation
no before that
because so
before that we
yes segmentation
before that
now who makes ahemfo ni obi afrem so we yes segmentation and I think we menya
no that before
segmentation
but no my
sir you know sir cluster ones na wie and your box we need together okay University Great Hall on that faithful day menamo honorable prepared say Alaji Collins Dauda and other NDC MPs they were all there the Parliamentary Select Committee on Minerals and Mining, Mines and Energy, Eba Betnaho, you know, we have a conversation. I'm a frank issues. Me a canina. And I may say, I buy a buy. I dear be all your beer and wha, MPP are buying no anye. I dear be but measure be a 2% with the fighting Galamsey Bian. I buy no Germany yea. And the Ekosiisen, my yen. Until the Chamo says, I didn't know you and Ekosiisen. One for serious beyond Tom. Never Pabu or Bansama. Anna or torn a car. I don't check, wouldn't do a chair on the carnage. Oh my Papa, don't go chair. I am why you need her. Or channel wouldn't go chair on the carnage. Miss Clissom, Miss Awesome. Meet you on him. When you catch interest, I do catch me. Aha. Or chair the carnage came qua. They didn't know we qua. Papa, the carnage has some making came qua. BBS. Well, Sasana will be my I LI 2462. I buy only pepper so be year free.
There's a process now starting.
Okay. I buy a buy, you know. For the first 120 days. Pledge now, yeah, you know. Call number 19. Okay. Number 19, oh. Ban illegal and new mining activities in forest reserves.
But what has changed?
What has changed?
What ban?
Oh, that would try.
What ban?
Say, you obey.
I don't know what can I say.
New license.
The president himself, like I say,
yes,
the minister has said it.
Yes, they have issued license. Okay,
oh, now but Tramame. Now but Tramame.
But I think I have access to the
this is hold on. This is May 16th. They will let us me and Meba. Meba. Someone not here. Where May 16, 2024. May. My Juma Okoko board as an administrator. It's a bad administration. Bad document about a bad administration. May best, but I'm one of the best. So now hold on. Or say approval for issuance of entry permits for exploration, pre-mining operation, and about rate. It means it's a reply to this letter. Permission to visit on member company needing for once of a year. Concession on official shelter belt forest reserve in the Asante region, right? Now, letter May 16, 2024. Look at the content. Oh, what's the you want stability? Or say we refer to the mining lease granted to measures blah 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 by Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources dated 31st May 2024. Letter way 16th May. About that letter, you didn't approve no. You just approve 31st May. It makes it wrong. Now come to me. And hold on. And the company's subsequent and the company's subsequent requests. It means that after 31st May, the company made another request. The Samsung company says dated 18th March 2025 for issuance of forest almost at that backdating way. Okay, Meba. I'm going to see my integrity. They say, I'm more flawed. So my integrity is on the line. I have to prove it.
Yes. Okay? This is not a letter you should be defending.
Meba. Reference number. I say. No, look at the reference number. FC A.6.2/SF.1/V.21, which is volume 21 /43, and that's also 43. Look at volume 21 now. Now come to this letter.
Which letter?
Well, to May 16, 2025.
Why do you like May 16?
Meba, and it's a different company. It means they wrote the letter on the same date. Now look at the reference number.
4243.
And this is it's very big kaba and sana weyaba. with the same content. Backdate here. Now, reference, you see, administration reference number na debecho. Backdate said debecho. Now, any reference number, so reference number no. Let me show you another letter.
No, but on my hand.
This letter has a lot of
and this is another letter. Also, we have 46. That is the sequence, and this is June 11.
On my hand.
It is 46 because the previous letters no May. Okay, wait a minute. So after May, you go to June, and this letter was written on June 11, 2024. Oh,
let us see 2024 will be a bad.
Oh yeah, are you saying say by virtue of those references?
My point is one abandoning the paper say forest reserve now for a year man because as at June, as at May 2025 they were issuing.
This letter does not confirm that
it confirms.
It does not. There were questions so let
it does not. This letter does not
confirm grant of mineral rights. Anything from the Minerals Commission. Forestry, I have a permit a long time ago. And then entry permit is all I need now.
What you have just read out.
Where for Forestry Commission?
Masem say, yes, say, you perceive ye LI 2462 ni free home. Abino say, Obaya no, obey ye free home, when you are shabo 120 days on ye. You can't want some that. Then behind our issue entry permits from the Forestry Commission. The same forest now. You see a man phone come no. Or no issue a entry permit. So munkom. It means that omu no say omu jai sadi no moya no. And no man sama make.
I didn't know I didn't chance omu no imagine so omu jai.
Now why issue entry permit May 16, 2025.
May 2024 view.
Some mature letters. My letters me so. When you May 16, 2024.
My man can 25.
Can 25 no. What I can say? I think remember.
iPad yes and
yeah we. Nana ya na iPad. Yes. One letter.
Oh just okay. Na then and I'm pessing near what comes after this part.
Oh, the one say ucha following the review of the application. Approval is hold on.
Last paragraph for
following the review of the application. Approval of the application above here. Approval is hereby granted for the Canada. Okay, we refer. Okay, approval following the approval is granted. Approval is granted.
And that's the confusion. You have a letter 2024 that is purporting to approve 2025. Now if we saw this another letter
when you are fake, before the number you fake.
I don't know a question about
he could make his point.
Okay,
I'm reading a letter. You're backdating 2024.
But how did you arrive at that backdating?
But you see the content of the letter and the SPQ2 date,
So which one is saying the last one? They say
was saying following the review of the application, approval is hereby granted for the issuance of a forest entry permit to enable the company to proceed with the said mining exploration activities, and is subject to strict adherence.
And it's dated when?
No, but so this
one is dated when?
This is not mining. This is read what you have just said. So if I get a prospecting license, I am allowed to go and do prospecting.
Yes.
It's not mining.
In the forest.
Mining.
Not you brought an airline down.
Don't go there. Don't even go there. Don't go there. Asama can say. Asama meme can say. The LI 2462 no.
Where they go? Where they go?
Because look, I have supported 100%. A mineral rights be a granted. But this is mineral rights granted to do prospecting. and nipa na apply
prospective
letter no all granted this year. You are granting the forest
I think we both
prospecting line.
you shouldn't even grant it if you want to. If you want to,
2024.
If you want to,
not to mine, to prospect.
I think our point be at you.
No, I get
so the letter 24 was requesting to get this
entry permit.
Yes.
And entry permit has been granted this
year. And I have another letter dated 2025. And the entry permit has been granted this year.
What is the argument?
2024.
The argument that
what it means is that
the claim is that
new entry permits have been granted.
The
first hold on. For avoidance of doubt, the forestry commission cannot give mining license. They can only grant entry permit, and they have done this year for companies to enter into the forest. Well, that I don't care.
Not necessarily.
Because as a president, I can say, I'm issue entry permit. That's why you should entry permit. You know back the 2024.
Because that law is not repealed yet. And that law is repealed. They will continue. That's what
you're true Krata 2024. Krata near Ekosiisen bit menya kwan wura yakwa yini. Yemfia 2025 by any abrese will be a juma yakwa yini. And ya grantee a jumakubi an entry permit
in 2025.
A license. But see, why should they be granted that entry permit?
Listen to when the letter was written. 29th November 2024. What you say? That it was written in 2024.
There were three. Or say 29. Or say we refer to the money lease granted so and so. Yes. By the Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, dated 29th November. And the company's subsequent request dated 6 May 2025. Nobody.
Don't permit it. You
cannot apply for the entry permit in 2024.
Yeah.
And I'm person says it was not applied for in 2024.
And we will apply for entry permit in 2025.
Not 2024.
Yes. Now 2025. And 2025 near woman.
No, and I make no mind in thought.
What I say?
The application 2024. And I am for man on 2025.
2025 I application on a grant amano
before election.
First to find.
In fact,
I don't media make
7 days to election. 7 days to an election.
7 days to
my point
is you granted entry permit this year. At least mama 3 separate documents.
It's the same thing. It refers to the same.
We are looking for solution. Mukra the mama edu baby ana mohun ya ye bufu kakra.
And say
in terms of how
a few days to election granted like that time ben nipa no onko ye.
They make say. Oh say I am more a rem kakra say. The way the MPP now talks with all that.
Yes, sometimes come on.
The NDC for car or chroma. I can't.
I never NDC
for some forest entry permit card. More a bit of top tables come. But you granted it. It is authentic. It is authentic.
Your friend is a forestry commission.
It is authentic.
I never let away ML.
If this is managing from this commission,
somebody should be held responsible.
Our some institution move to me accord and the right information. But the document
will check it. Then that will check that.
Because this is
free. Now what
we're not doubting this one. It doesn't sit well in the conversation.
The way I let us know.
That's all.
And that's just what now the information.
Information
what that know who
information.
When you them. Just what that know who and I will church
information.
In effect, what do you want?
Another leg of a Ukraine was some kind more say. This letter is addressed to the acting executive director. It means you're confirming or the current one. The current one, so it tells you that this grant.
Who signed it? The signature.
I see you.
If it's a CEO there, hey, Brown.
I see you.
We complain that was a disaster. Also, this is a terrible note to start on.
NDC.
No, he was with the commission. He was with the commission.
More letters, remember more letters.
In the brand and the brow.
Maybe you can't be BBU.
It's
your mind. Faith in your
I mean, see Papa bit on a car or checking King.
And you can
make me a car.
I somehow can
I'm carrying King. It's your mind, say, a buying way or Papa say, or pursue ye at the end free war. Hey, ye levy. Oh, buy how many days, how many months did it take them to exactly?
So you don't like the approach of the government
at all? It's too like a Dasika. They're sleeping on the job.
Sleeping on the job.
What I have it here. 120 days. We say I do a mission. 120 days. Mohammed 120 days. 120 days. And I told you about 1 year. The council, Nana has a man can't to super glue. I'm for super glue. Let me use it. I said, yes, a man can say,
as some clinician,
I
am a yes, a minia crown because we'll cry baby. We just had your
Mr. I know, no, could this happen for Dominic and Chum. Mama document no. Right information.
That document.
Just a minute now,
document you come and share my obia.
Monsieur no na mo de nam. Ba hu no platform bi so no na mo de nam.
Cancelled Mr. Catcher saying they were arthritic pain. Ebe ball constant koso quarantine Mr. Drone was so abedja so yesterday CC di numra na CC okwanso koso cancer mixture de nyina na se makacho that arthritic pain no a year for your precope e the amount say upebia to trust in Jehovah Clinic or takwa onya dodo na nkasa to onum na on de baye afenso ko oman mu pharmacy bia obenya bi ato dodo na nkasa de takwa offer number we 0244871862 kaswa 0245012201 Okaishi drug lane 0244683583 na wape cancer mixture be a world devoid of sickness wape biato yarapa afede every nti atik
another issue
me pacho my land you let dunkwa me my edwo dunkwa pen anda kokubo
ne no ko inu ashe ko
dunkwa me ko court dunkwa mo sa mo chichi yi dunkwa dunkwa also si chairman etimi wone soldier force so one free site one kwa obemi abo mutu
anything na ni sister
nana ya person kache nana ya person kache say wo hu ana me the video nda send wo TV so live obi ahu bi say constituency chairman who timi nya kukudro and ko ja soldier ni anim
MPP constituency chairman
NDC na obi ahu no.
Okay, so
I think
Kawase
when it be ntie we the one allege kwa lawyer ni awodi allege na nam.
If anybody had told me say
I would need evidence lawyer ni
and we'll still be having conversations about say party 4 to Galamsey nkrofo mo be muso anka minjindi da. But that is where we are today.
But your party ni be to Galamsey. What were evidence?
You just mentioned a party chairman.
Chairman.
Also the video the message is so far. But mami to aso.
Dunkwa area ho.
Ikura to me ba. What you say?
Onu sutu bia na.
They be on a legal small scale. They went into na they said so illegal. Who did the license in actually. At the end of the day omo che no. And I'm the be too. But if you show mo na illegal. So there was a lot of mix-up.
I agree.
What you say?
You know, there are Crawford or genuine business. But you see, so-called legal for being illegal, no. Yamvan say the concession is just like, Yamvan say, blocks, no, bare 5 blocks, for example. Nipa no 25 ni we are now pa or 2 first na we jafo no. Now I call into the other one I can concession, no, to Galamsey. But anyway, my view on this issue about meeting stakeholders, so-called stakeholders, is just an attempt to buy time, which is needless. Here, action. We are looking for actionable steps, not Look, Ghana, we meet CSOs, they see share info. They are share political parties. They share why.
they take action.
Which action?
No, because you get input from them.
So are you telling me, sir, before NDC came to office, there are no blueprint, there are no plan?
There is always a plan. But you are dealing with stakeholders. What do you mean, sorry,
I listened to, and I think it's one of the issues. Musi Yankan. Look,
Ghana yet digit a single digit inflation, you'll be affair.
Oh, when you intentionally run a contractionary fiscal policy, there certainly there won't be flow of income until Crawford you can't try it. That's what the exactly government is. The government is not spending. But anyway, we will discuss the fiscal issues some other day. Near me, I listened, and near me, it relates to, of course, Sikasem. Me a cremoni minchaluto. I'm prohibited by my religion and even personal decisions. Loto dear. Anything that deals with chance.
Now, deputy, a lot, then.
Oh, they want to call that substantive.
Send them person.
Only substantive.
What has it? No, there is an explicit verse in the Quran that prohibits gambling, alcoholism. Explicit. Very explicit. And it says, well, I don't know if you guys would understand the Arabic, but it says, وَحَرَّمَ اللَّهُ الْخَمْرَ وَالْمَيْسَرِ. Maisar is gambling. That God explicitly forbids drinking, gambling, and some other vices in that particular verse. So it's where and no other interpretation you can give to it. Gambling is forbidden in Islam. Having said so, but when it comes to issues of Sikasem, I say, those who do it and generate revenue for government and all that, say, come on, Matisse, Nsembi, Kukosu, I've done some, digging into the issue because these are things that affect our revenue. KGL, Media Foundation for West Africa, Omudin Nsembi Namse, government are buying Eddie Sikabi Ma a private entity. Just say, Chen Sika free through lottery. And Mitty and I was upset, media, because I buy you sick as some crown, Nasa, Tam Sikasi, Eddie, Che, and Crankra. But which him people confuse revenues with profits. Economic profit, NSA, cow bebo, and Mika costa every type of cost. Ukakani in Abuma, your total cost. Uti free. Total revenue and people think say revenue me ton loto na ana nipa na oton loto na Sika OGN is not profit, it's revenue. So it is the totality of how much sales you have made. After obetiti will cost in everywhere. That is when you can now begin to speak about profit. Now, I listened to your interview with Sule, and Sule, you know, was a very good friend in Legon. And I know how he is, very, you know, principled guy and all that. But I think on this occasion I disagree with him on a number of issues. And he said, on Wangasaji say winnings, 48%. I do not know how they came to that particular figure, how the computation they did. But let me even grant say winnings no cry 48%. Which means that out of the total revenue now, the private entity generate 48% conquer for omu. Now you are left with just 52%. 52% you have a bet you cost a frame. And sana wabeka profit wasem. Now we are wait to be ama NLE. So to throw the figure say, oh, revenue 3 billion. And out of the 3 billion, they are paying 150 million to the entity called NLE. You do so without taking into account whether Sikana Yetuamono is coming from their profits and not from their revenues. Now revenue no omu ton loto ni wia no mu Sikana, which is their total revenue no. And so you must factor into the equation how much they are also paying out by way of winnings. Now say nebeka omu cost free more say nebeka. But when you don't do these micro analysis, now the two say, oh, they make 3 billion. Now out of 3 billion, it's just 150 million penny. I would be upset as Obia who is interested in issues of finance and all that. Say, now this it is not value for money. This is not the kind of investment a bank should be doing. Say you have an entity working for you, and out of 3 billion that goes to the entity, you get only 150. But when you do the breakdown, you would realize that it is just revenue. And revenue, they would have to account for winnings. And on one case, you say 48%. I'm using his crude figure of 48%. It could be more. And Kahuni say these games are just probabilities. Look, you go into it is probability because you go into you have no idea, no guarantee. Say Okwaku win it. And who the entity operating so you have no way to tell. There are no ways of telling whether you be what is here? That makes it a risky enterprise. Every enterprise that is based on probabilities is a risky enterprise. Now, at the end of the day, Abai is like the monies paid to NLA the monies have been incremental. Omusha say from 20, Abai kept reviewing. She said I could do 150 million. I would have thought, say, okay, show us how much you make on average by way of revenue. Now, winnings 80%, uti free ma say nebeka.
The strike.
What I said, then you'll be doing us a great deal of favor.
But don't lump it up that.
But when you kind of trust Anna, me and me TH, no, my say, why would government allow a single entity? And 3 billion Ghana cedis is good money by all accounts anywhere in the world, though. And yes, Ikakuma. But when you factor all these into the conversation, then you realize no, it may not necessarily be so.
Monday, Tuesday we are on. So
Martin, and you see, Yembise who say, I am a socialist. So the issues of production and distribution.
Socialist is more watch crowd.
Oh, you see, there's the misconception about some of these things. But you see, now whether we like it or not, Ghana is a capitalist state. What is here? Ghana is a capitalist state, whether we like it or not. Now, so we must operate within that framework. So if and we feel this thing about the private sector is the engine of growth, it's not for nothing. No. Let's say Cramby, it's not easy to come up with ideas, give meaning and effect to the ideas, and make them profitable. And the former go be and mind you, Abayankasa NLA in 2008 brought something like and it was not profitable until no Biamba. And Obibaye has made it profitable. Government is making money. Fanny said between 0 and 1, which one is bigger? And one. Say what you Obia Nyashi. nobody's using sa electronic platform no enye Aban is making zero money. Exactly. Nti omukono omukopima no mejai na Aban nti only two show bank of way naekuntokwe de bia. Somebody comes and says, look, I can come up with an idea, a technology to back it that would make this enterprise profitable. And the person even did, yes, the person even did feasibility study.
Because Ghana need him.
That's my worry. That's my worry.
Ghana needs to fight him.
We are Ghana. I'm not saying people shouldn't raise issues of value for money, but sometimes the kind of, I don't want to say bitter passion, but the kind of exaggerated passion we have when it comes to some of these things. Idea
all Ibrahim, Kofi Jobs,
Obia, no, that's it.
I don't know why.
We've had this conversation before. And I may say, we need to have a forum to discuss intergenerational businesses. No, we need to have that conversation. How do we build intergenerational businesses? Now we are me work Gambaga, me call. One was a Gambaga in Glasgow. Timmy call
Gambaga. There was someone
Gambaga.
Everybody should have Gambaga ever in Glasgow.
Even Glasgow, wouldn't oh, I think every Republic of Gambaga. Me and I go rush up. They just do hair products and share data na ewoso. Which means since established since 1709. 1709. Who the magana ni Samina Ejuma Kra starting no. The particular government. Yebeka say Aban when Aban go to Pedro start targeting the business.
I think
of money for themselves and their families are destroying our water body. May God kill all of them. The people are committing genocide, poisoning our waters. And we are looking on and playing politics around it. It's evil, it's barbaric. The people who manage our water say that, look, now there are children, they found mercury, cyanide, and things in their blood, causing cancers and limbs. You will see the water is very clear.
Well, medium man here, Kabna Santi, Nami Admechna, Ibisha, Dobi Biasi. I don't know craft for Trump. Usa Yene Dabi. Pega Mike, who's that?
Yamabo Saturday. Some papa, yes, or the
Fumesa. Steven Kojo can come. Okay. No Ghana Police Service SWAT unit Ashanti region. Nyame adoma yesieno ayene ye ewo Fumesa. Ze ono omnabusa force di Fumesa kunya ho. Ti wade hye. Ne papa mu ne di Fumesa kunya. Oh. Nti ama
on that note, there will be a so I mentioned. I mentioned.